Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 9:02 a.m., and you are listening to and watching Good Morning, Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It's Monday, the 10th of March. The month and the year moving by quite quickly. When last we spoke to you guys, which was on Friday, we told you we had a great interview coming up this morning, and we do. One of our guests today is Helen Ratzlow of the Aurora Film Society, board member, correct?
Yes.
How are you feeling?
Okay.
That's good. Good. And the Aurora Film Society, as we told you guys about, has had a move to the venue, which has been great. We're going to talk about some of the films, the next film coming up. So how was your weekend? Let's start off with that.
I'm busy.
Okay. And how long have you been a member of the Film Society?
I don't remember. I don't remember it. I wasn't one of the original founders, but in its first iteration when it was Cineast or something, and then when they reconstituted, I guess maybe 5 years.
It seems, about that, because we interviewed you, yourself and Dan, once upon a time, about 2 or 3 years ago now, in what is now the Paramount Stope Theater in the old TV studio.
Oh yeah.
And things have been going by leaps and bounds. But you guys were at the Fire Museum at that time, correct?
Right. We there's a little theater upstairs in the Fire Museum that we were using, and it seated around 50 people. So our move to the venue is almost 200 seats there. So our capacity for growth has quadrupled, and that's pretty exciting because our inaugural event in January, the French comedy called The Crime Is Mine, Mon Crime, we got a lot of people to turn out, and there was a lot of excitement. We've getting new subscribers, and so we're very excited about the potential for growth there in our new space.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
And some people like that there's a cash bar.
It could add a little something. It could add a little something.
For myself, it makes no difference whatsoever, but some people really like that additional perk there.
Yeah, well, the venue is a beautiful place. A lot of you guys go there and know about it. Great shows, fantastic staff and team that run the venue. Also, the venue has the attached, the park, Mundy Park outside with the little band show kind of seating. So it's a really nice place. I had known about the upstairs room in the Fire Museum until I was fortunate enough to go to a meeting up there. And it's got like the sloped seating, really nice, and on the wall are all these different badges and patches from like fire departments all across the state of Illinois, it's a really nice place.
It was a good home for us, but it was, but now, like I said, this new place is a chance to grow.
Good growth.
Yep.
So what's the next film that is coming up as I pull up our calendar here for our subscribers to see? The Crime Is Mine was January. My Man Godfrey was last month.
Right.
Coming up is
Songs My Brothers Taught Me.
Okay.
It's Chloe Zhao, who directed Nomadland, directed this, and it was filmed on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. And I've seen the trailers and I've read the synopsis, but I have not seen the film yet. I'm really looking forward to it because she's a great filmmaker. And I think Dan asked me to come over today because I do have some experience on Pine Ridge Reservation. I go there once or twice a year. I bring supplies out to a children's service organization out there. So, that's.
Where's Pine Ridge located?
It's on the western end, southwestern end of South Dakota. It's right on the South Dakota-Nebraska border.
Interesting.
Well, it's the Badlands are there as part of the reservation, the Badlands, and then then further west is the Black Hills, which the Lakota have never ceded to the United States. They feel it's theirs, even though it's not. I mean, it's complicated, right? It,
Without giving it away, what's the premise of the film? The trailer is on the website that you guys can check out. It is aurorafilmsociety.org is the website.
The premise is that the reservation is so poor that there's little opportunity unless you move away. I know like an artist who was living there and couldn't make a go till he moved to Rapid City, or besides Crazy Horse and Red Cloud, the old most famous, probably the modern most famous person from Pine Ridge is Billy Mills, who won the gold in the 1968 Olympics for the 10,000 meters. If you ever see that film, it's so exciting. It's so amazing when he comes from behind to win that race, and he's the only American who's ever won that race.
Okay, maybe that'll be next month's film at the society. Right? Keep an eye on the calendar for that.
Anyways, he's the most famous person, modern person from Pine Ridge, and he lives in L.A. Now he supports. He's got a charity called Running Strong for Indian youth, I think, and they have a campaign right now to make sure that everybody has heat for the winter, and that there's only 32 houses left on Pine Ridge that don't have water, so they're working on that. And then in downtown Pine Ridge Village, there is Billy Mills Hall, where they have sporting events and powwows and that sort of thing. So it's the premise of the story is that in order to be successful, in order to make it in life, you have to leave.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course that leaves a lot of holes in people's lives and sadness in people's lives, that people are gone, and that becomes more and more desperate life there. So the stories from, I believe, the point of view of the youngest daughter, who's facing her brother. One of her brothers is in prison, and the other one is ready to leave.
9:10 is the time. If you are just now joining us, good morning to all of you fantastic people out there. Tracy Duran is here, and Tracy Duran was kind enough to put the link to Aurora Film Society in the chat. Thank you very much for that, Tracy. Larry Acevedo III is here. Good morning to you. Becky Hoff, nice day. Enjoy Aurora. Thank you, Becky. Denise Dale. Jasmine's here. She says, good morning, Curtis and Helen. Janet Davis, Jonathan, Carolina, and Daniel Calderon. I hope that you guys are all doing good this brand new week. We're back.
Well, let me say then, a little commercial break here. We show our films the third Wednesday of the month at the venue, which is 21 South Broadway.
There it is, right? I'm looking at it right here. You got it.
Okay. And the doors open at 6:30 and the film starts at 7. You can come a la carte and just buy one viewing for $10, or you can buy a subscription and see the films for $5 each.
Okay. All right. Get the subscription, y'all. That was a great plug. Great commercial right there. That was a great plug-in. Hugo Saltigeri, dear friend, is here. Good morning to you, Hugo. Hope that you have a fantastic day.
Hola, Hugo. ¿Cómo estás hoy?
So I want to read a little bit from the website. So once again, as Helen said, and this is in the link, the chat. The link is in the chat. Theater series is open to subscribers only. You may, if you haven't become a subscriber yet, you may join the organization by making a donation and also subscribe. And listen to this, you guys. As Helen just mentioned, the theater screenings occur on the third Wednesday of each month. This is great to put into your calendar for things to do in downtown Aurora. The venue is a really nice place. A lot of great shows go on there all the time and different events. And again, it's right adjacent to Mundy Park. So come on out for a film, take a walk around, after that. Time is 9:12. Are there enough films from the Native American perspective?
Oh, probably not. Though it has been attention has been increasing on Native American life. There is a Native American film. Well, sort of like in the after World War I, and in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, there was a black film industry, race films they called them. There is a Native American film industry, and it's mostly comedy and slapstick, and it's interesting to see what Native American humor is. There's one that I watched recently. It was called More Than Fry Bread.
More Than Fry Bread.
More Than Fry Bread.
I like that.
Well, and
like
fry bread is poor people food. What they got from commodities. Once a month, the people of low income on reservations get United States commodities. It's a cheese and a brick of cheese and some flour and stuff like that. Well, anyway, so they turned lemons into lemonade and invented fry bread, which is not healthy. It's flour and yeast and sugar and fried in oil, but it's delicious.
Right.
And it's
I was waiting for the butt to come in there.
Yeah.
But
No, this film is about a fry bread contest, and it's slapstick. It's hysterically funny, and it stars Tatanga Means, who is the son of the AIM activist Russell Means, and there was an independent film made several years back, called Neither Wolf Nor Dog. That was also filmed on Pine Ridge. Zon McClarnon, who plays Joe Leaphorn in the Hillerman series on TV. Anyways, he was in it, and I think the boom started with Smoke Signals, which is way back, like 25, 30 years now, with Adam Beach, and it was entirely native made. There was like one old white lady in the whole film. It was all native. It was a native director, a native writer. It was based on Sherman Alexie's story about what was it called? Fist fight with Tonto and
The Lone Ranger?
Lone Ranger fist fight in heaven or something like that.
Was that a movie?
No, it was the Sherman Alexie short.
I was about to say, how did I miss that?
No. It was a Sherman Alexie short story,
Okay.
and I think they used that for creating Smoke Signals, which I said, like, native director, native writer, native cast,
Okay.
and it's a road adventure, and it's got a lot of Native American humor in there. It's a gallows humor, kind of, because of the poverty that most of the reservations live in. There's a scene where these girls have a car that only drives backwards. You know,
Wow.
You got to know what
That sounds like a good movie.
what res cars and res dogs are like to appreciate some of the humor.
So it's interesting. Tracy Duran just put on in the chat as we were talking Smoke Signals with a Wikipedia link to it, and says, I've made fried bread and it's really good, but I agree it's not really good to eat every day. Thank you for that, Tracy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tracy. Tracy, why don't you join the Aurora Film Society?
You should, Tracy. Yeah, seriously. She's got so much history, and there's so many good movies from the different historical eras that she likes. Tracy, you should join. But anyway, good way to push it to the right people. How's the Film Society go about sourcing the films that you guys play? How does the films come to be a part of the board? This
particular film was actually suggested by one of our subscribers, but generally how the films are picked, everyone on the board comes to a meeting with a list of suggestions, and then we hash it out, and we come up with maybe 20 films, and we present to the subscribers, and then they vote. The top 12 vote getters become the program for the following year.
Okay.
So it's semi-democratic.
Small d, democratic,
but
right?
but no, we did another one of the films that was suggested by a subscriber, not by the board, was
It'll come to you tonight.
no, it'll come to me at 2 a.m.
Right. The Crime Is Mine.
No.
Purple Noon.
No.
Salt of the Earth.
That's it. Salt of the Earth. Yeah, a Salt of the Earth. It's I guess you would call it. It's like Italian neorealism that came up out of World War II, filmmaking on a dime, by using the actual people to play a version of themselves. I mean, Nomadland was actually a neorealistic too, because many of the people in that film were playing a version of themselves. They weren't professional actors. So there's some professional actors in Salt of the Earth, but most of the people in the film are the people who lived the story they're telling, which is about a miners' strike in the 50s in the Southwest. And this is the only film that was ever blacklisted by the United States government. This is during McCarthy era. So this film can be shown for free because there is the filmmakers never renewed their license on it.
Interesting.
Because they didn't make a red penny off of it because it was in theaters for about 2 weeks and then pulled and never seen again until it started having a revival years later, because the story is wonderful. It's about Mexican and white workers working together, and it's about men and women working together for their common cause rather than fighting each other. So I can't imagine why the government wouldn't want that film to be shown in the 1950s.
Salt of the Earth, 1954, by Herbert J. Biberman. Interesting. Yeah. Banned films. I like it already. That is very cool.
The pick is very eclectic, and sometimes there's years that I didn't even like half the films that were picked.
Really?
But it was like, I was like, oh, well, I'm glad I saw it. I don't want to see it again.
Right.
But it's always an eclectic mix, and not everyone will be pleased with every pick. But
sure, absolutely.
But there's so many films and so little time.
Rachel Cleghorn is here. Good morning to you, Rachel. Tiffany, good morning. Alvin Soto is here. Says bayonets are delicious. They are. Josue Pais and Stacy are here as well. Good morning to all of you great guys. 9:20 is the time. If you are just joining us, we're here with Helen Ratzlow, board member of the Aurora Film Society. In the chat is the link to the Aurora Film Society. Check it out. Check out the films that they have coming up, and also learn how you could be a subscriber, take part, and show some good movies. Okay, so our next film, because I have it here, Songs My Brothers Taught Me, is this month. And then next month we have The Long Good Friday. What's that about?
Oh, I think that...
great title.
That is a British film with Bob Hoskins, and Bob Hoskins is a gangster. It's a gangster movie, but it's also like a comedy because he's really like over the top. Okay. I believe I saw it when it was new years and years and years ago. When was it made? Does it say?
It's from 1980.
Yeah, well, that's years and years ago, isn't it?
Yeah, seriously, right. Everybody at home like, oh gosh.
Well,
I love this show.
You were just a baby then.
Yeah, I wasn't. I came along in '82.
Oh my gosh, you were a twinkle in your daddy's eye.
Exactly.
Oh my
gosh. Came along in '82, so they couple more years later. And then we're not gonna give you all the, but Purple Noon is then coming up in May, and Purple Noon looks like it's a movie by Renee Clement. Can you tell us a little bit about Purple Moon?
Nope.
No. Okay. All right. Well, that means
it wasn't my pick, and I don't remember. I really don't remember.
In your time,
I'm going to be excited to see it because I don't remember what we talked about. We hash over so many films before we get to the down to the 12 that we pick.
Right.
It's like sometimes it's like just spinning in my head.
What have been some of the favorites in your tenure here on the board?
Oh, there was one, I think it was, I can't remember, it was last year or the year before. It was the year before. También la lluvia, even the rain. This is a film crew is making a movie about Columbus coming to America, but they're on a budget, so they're in Bolivia, and they're using Bolivian natives to represent the natives that Columbus met in the Caribbean. And they're saying that most people won't know the difference.
Is this a comedy too?
It's not a comedy, though. Yeah. It's interesting because there's water wars going on at the same time where the government is trying to control the water supply that these Quechua Indians need for their agriculture, and one of the filmmakers is very self-righteous about how can you do this to these people, and then the guy is like, how come you're only paying your native actors $2 a day?
Right.
So it's showing that that the effects of conquest and colonialism are still being felt 500 years later, 600 years later, in these places. Mm-hmm. And again, it's a native population that's been overwhelmed by European settler population.
And what was the name of this film?
It's called Even the Rain.
Even the Rain.
So they even don't even want people to collect rainwater, because they want to own all the water.
Right.
This company wants to own all the water, and there's places, even here, where you're not allowed to collect rainwater, right? Mm-hmm. Not here in Illinois, but there's some places in the states where that happens.
Right. Yeah. Tracy says 1980 was only 15 years ago. Jasmine says Even the Rain is a great film. Scott Christoffel is here. Good morning to you, Scott. Good to see you,
Scott.
sir.
Hi.
Hope that you're having a great week starting out too. 9:25 is the time. So last question here. Is there a film that you think people need to see?
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah. Oh, I would like to see the film that won the documentary award Oscar this year, which no American distributor is picking up, the Palestinian documentary. And
what's it called?
I can't remember. It's No Other Land, I think it's called.
Okay.
Somebody out there who's smarter than me remembers. Mm-hmm. Tracy, look it up, send it to us. Yeah, I think it's an important film. I had won an Academy Award for telling the story, and it's pre-Hamas attack. Mm-hmm. It's not what's been happening since that October 7th attack, mm-hmm. which of course was dreadful, and everything that's followed is dreadful. This is the story of what was going on before then. Yeah, and so I think that's something that we all would like to see. There's so many films out there.
So many films, so little time.
So many films, so little time. There's another film from that same season I was talking about. I don't know if you have to see this, but it was called Minari, and it was starring Stephen Yun, Korean American, and was about a Korean family settling in the United States. And immigrant stories are very important to see. We are a nation of immigrants, either forced immigrants or voluntary immigrants.
Well said.
And I recently rewatched Daughters of the Dust, which is a story of African Americans living on an island, the Gullah people living on an island off the coast of the Carolinas. That's a beautiful film. I don't know if you have to see it, but I think it's a visually beautiful film, and it's a story of generational differences and tradition versus modernization, and it's similar to some of the stories of native versus colonial. There's always a struggle. A movie or a book is nothing without a struggle. It doesn't have to be like fisticuffs, but there's always some struggle going on to make the story interesting. Otherwise, you would just,
I agree. Well, 9:28 is the time. Helen, thank you very much for coming on and telling us about the upcoming films and the society. Hopefully you caught some fish with your bid for you guys to come out and become a member of the Film Society. Once again, in the chat is the link to the Aurora Film Society, aurorafilmsociety.org. Check it out. Consider becoming a subscriber and come on out to some of the great films. I hope. What were you going to say?
No, you can come out once, see one film and see if you like the film, see if you like the venue, see if you like us, and then decide if you want to buy a subscription for the rest of the year.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Good Morning Aurora. Right now, Aurora's first bilingual news program, Buenos Dias Aurora, is about to start. Head on over to that page. We will see you guys tomorrow with more news and the very best of Aurora. Take care of yourself and each other.
Being a local business in Chicago, we've always worked with community banks, but over time, those smaller banks started getting acquired by larger national footprint banks. It became time to work with Wintrust to meet our needs without having to have that big bank feel.
Wintrust understood what they wanted to accomplish, and they've increased in size 5 times over.
As we continue to grow, we're going to keep needing to borrow, so I'm sure they're going to love that.
Serving their needs. It's really the foundation of what Wintrust commercial banking is all about.